Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for College Access Central. My name is James Massey, and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admissions at the University of Maryland, College Park. And today we're going to be talking about the financial aid and merit scholarship process. I'm joined by my colleague from financial aid, and she'll introduce herself now.
Hi, my name is Melina Heng, and I am the Associate Director in the Office of Student Financial Aid. Today, I will provide you with information to help you navigate the financial aid process and also in understanding your financial aid options.
Okay, so now let's get started with our financial aid and merit scholarship workshop. So as we start the conversation, we always like to start by talking about the difference between merit-based and need-based opportunities. Merit-based opportunities are things that are based off of your application to the University of Maryland, and we're looking at all those things that you put together in order to make determinations for merit scholarships. We're looking at your transcript, we're looking at letters of recommendation, things that you send to us. And that's how we arrive at our decision after the careful review of those documents in terms of if you're eligible for a merit scholarship. It's also important to note that that process is need blind, which means we do not have access to any of your financial records. Need-based opportunities are things that are determined based off of the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. These are things that are sent into the Office of Student Financial Aid, and the colleagues there are able to review your FAFSA and see if you meet the eligibility requirements for different opportunities that are based upon your need. Other things that we look at are scholarships, grants, and loans. These are other ways to finance your higher education. Scholarships first, because those are things that do not have to be paid back. We encourage our students and our families to be very assertive in your search for scholarship opportunities because, again, those are monies that go towards financing your higher education and they do not have to be repaid. Grants as well. Grants are opportunities that may have eligibility requirements that include both need in some cases and merit, your academic performance. But again, there are monies that you can secure that do not have to be repaid. And finally, the L word that is not love, but loans. Loans are reality as you're thinking about financing higher education, but we want to make sure that through this presentation, you know the best type of loans to take out, the loans that are the right fit for you, and of course, all the ins and outs in terms of being able to select loans with the appropriate information. So overall, what's important? What's important in this process is meeting the deadlines. At University of Maryland, College Park, we have a November 1st early action deadline. You must meet that deadline and apply by that deadline in order to be considered for our merit scholarships. At the time of applying, you must also have a complete admission application portfolio, meaning that everything that we ask for has to be turned in by that November 1st early action deadline. And lastly, there's no additional application that's necessary. You do not have to fill out another application with us in order to be considered for our merit scholarship awards. So in taking a closer look at what is reviewed and thinking about what's reviewed, it's a three-pronged approach in terms of academic preparation. We're looking at the transcript, the curriculum, the test scores. With our transcript, we want to see what kinds of courses did you take, obviously, and we want to evaluate where you were in your 9th grade versus where you landed in your 11th grade. We're looking for a positive trajectory, but we also want to see that if you started out very strong, that you maintained that strength academically, and of course that you were competitive throughout. In terms of curriculum, looking and seeing what kind of courses are you taking in terms of what's made available to you at your respective schools. We want students to certainly be able to challenge themselves and do well in those courses, but we're also mindful of what's available to students in their particular educational context. And lastly, test scores. When applicable, we're looking at your SAT and ACT scores, but we encourage students, if you take it more than once, give us the very best of what that you have taken, and we will take the very highest score and use that through our process of evaluation. And of course, whatever is going to best benefit the student is what we're going to use. Your letters of recommendation, we require that you submit letters of recommendation both from a counselor, your school counselor, as well as an academic teacher of choice. We want to make sure that those teachers and those counselors do the narrative letters, but also submit what we require, which is the evaluative form, which gives us a good understanding of how well you've done and your classes, what kinds of courses have you taken on, and overall how competitive you are against your peers. And then the essay. The essay comes into play for things such as our most prestigious scholarship, the Banneker Key. Great opportunity for us to hear the student voice and also to learn something additional about the student in terms of what it is that they bring to campus and, of course, what it is they're looking to do with their academic careers. Overall, the strength of the applicant pool drives this process. You can see from the fall 2020 profile for our early action applicants and those students that were admitted, the average GPA of those admitted was a 4.36. The middle 50% of the SAT was a 1320 to 1490, and the middle 50% for ACT was a 30 to a 34. So overall, what we're looking for, strong students that are doing well in challenging curriculums, and of course, when applicable, have competitive scores. I just want to talk about some of our scholarship programs just so you can get a good idea of what we offer at Maryland for our freshman students. I'll start with the Banneker Key Scholarship, which again is the most prestigious scholarship that we offer. We invite 400 students to campus. Of the 400 students, roughly 230 to 250 will receive the full scholarship, which includes full tuition, room, board, fees, and books. And then the balance of those students that interview will receive the partial scholarship. For in-state students, that means $8,000 per year plus a book scholarship. And for out-of-state students, $12,000 per year plus a book scholarship. Both our full and our partial recipients will all be known as Banneker Key Scholars, and they're a part of the Banneker Key community at the university. We also offer at the partial scholarship level presidential scholarships, which are available for in-state students at the $5,000 and the $8,000 level per year for 4 years, and for out-of-state students at the $2,000, $5,000, $8,000, and $12,000 level per year for 4 years. And we also have our Dean Scholarship Program, which is available for Maryland residents. It's available at the $1,500 level for the freshman year only, as well as the $4,500 level for the freshman and the sophomore year. Again, this is a program that's available for our Maryland residents only, but for each one of these scholarship categories, students must maintain a 3.2 cumulative GPA, and they also must complete 30 academic credits per academic year. Other scholarships to make mention of include the Creative and Performing Arts Scholarship, the CAPA Scholarship. This is sponsored by our College of Arts and Humanities and is available for students that are doing studio art or even performance art. There's also scholarship opportunities in a limited number for engineers, those coming in through the A. James Clark School of Engineering as freshmen. Also availability in the College of Education for freshman scholarships. But the majority of our academic colleges at the university would wait until students are at the junior year and above. They want to see their academic performance, but also their commitment to that particular major in their academic college. I also want to mention some opportunities for our transfer students. We're very proud to talk about the Frederick Douglass Scholarship, which is available at a full tuition level for 2 years or full academic semesters. It's awarded to students that are completing 56 credits or their associate's degree that have attended a Maryland community college and are Maryland residents. Typically, we invite about 45 students to campus. 30 of those students will receive the full scholarship and 15 the partial tuition scholarship. This is a committee review and an application process, and students must apply by March 1st to be considered. There's also the Maryland Transfer Scholarship, which is available for Maryland residents that have attended either a 2 or a 4-year institution, and it's available at $5,000 per year for 2 years, and it is a need and merit combined review. Lastly, the President's Transfer Scholarship, which is available for out-of-state transfer students. It's available at $5,000 per year for 2 years. Students must have a 3.2 competitive academic GPA, and they must be coming from a 2 or 4-year institution. Again, it's for out-of-state students, and this is a merit review only at a 3.2 cumulative GPA to start. So just to touch on the timeline of review, all of our students that apply by November 1st for the early action deadline will be notified by the end of January, no later than February 1st for the early action decision release. Immediately following that is our scholarship review. Our BK interviews, those invitations will go out in early February. The general scholarship notifications for those students that are being awarded partial scholarships will be in late February. And then our BK final award notifications, those students that receive the partials and the fulls, they'll be notified by mid-March. Our final confirmation deadline for freshman students is May 1st, and by accepting your enrollment at Maryland and making us your choice institution, you are also accepting your scholarship that you have been awarded. So at this time, we'll transition the presentation to our financial aid overview, which will be given by my colleague, Melina Hang.
Understanding the financial aid process is critical in setting realistic expectations. We are committed to providing you with helpful information and resources that can assist in making your investment in University of Maryland education affordable. To really understand this, we want to make sure we ask ourselves, what is financial aid? Financial aid consists of funds provided to students and families to help pay for post-secondary education expenses. During this presentation, we will learn more about the different types of financial aid that are available to you and your family. I want to make sure that you understand our financial aid philosophy here at the University of Maryland. The University of Maryland is committed to providing pathways to an accessible and affordable education with priority given to Maryland residents. The Office of Student Financial Aid offers assistance to students and families as they plan and prepare to invest in their education. For the 10 consecutive years, the University Affordability Initiatives have been recognized through its consistent ranking amongst the top 10 best value for in-state students by Kipler's magazine. So to first start, the free application for federal students will be available October 1st online at studentaids.gov. Remember the free. You should not have to pay for completing the FAFSA. It will be a quick process that will take no longer than 25 minutes. You can apply using your mobile apps as well. It is recommended that you obtain an FSA ID at www.fafsa.ed.gov. FSAID.ed.gov, several days ahead of when you first filed the FAFSA. For freshmen and sophomore students who are curious about the process, you can start to apply for your FSA ID now. But just remember to keep your username and password in a secure, safe place where you are able to locate it when you are ready to complete the FAFSA. It is a good idea if you and your parents obtain an FSA ID so that you can each access and complete the FAFSA for the portion you are specific to you and the portion of the application that are specific to your parents. There's two things that you want to make sure you understand. The FAFSA application, you will need to use your students and as well as the parents' federal tax return. Typically, the FAFSA is known as the prior year FAFSA. So what this means is that you will always use your tax return from 2 years prior to the date of your applying for the college. So for example, for this academic year, students who are now going into the fall semester, completing the 2021 FAFSA application, you will need to use the 2018 federal tax return. You also want to make sure that you check for colleges and universities for the financial aid priority deadline. For the University of Maryland, the priority deadline is January 1st of every single year. Secondly, check for colleges and university school code. The University of Maryland school code is 002103. The students can actually input up to 10 different colleges on the FAFSA application. Once the FAFSA application has been processed, the students will have the ability to remove the 10 school and then go ahead and add in additional schools. We recommend that you use the data retrieval tool. This is a tool embedded in the FAFSA application that allows students and parents to obtain IRS data directly from the IRS databases. And also it will insert or input the information from your tax return onto the FAFSA application. Why is this important? If the income is not accurate on the application, it could be flagged for requiring additional documentation or proof of income, which would mean that you would have to send the information to the financial aid office. This could then at that point will slow down the process of your FAFSA at the school that you are attending. We will not be able to offer you an award packet without your completed verification form. What is next? The Student's Aid Report, or SAR, provides you with a documentation of all the information you put onto your FAFSA. You should review this information for accuracy. It also provides you some other good information, such as your EFC, if you are eligible for a Pell Grant, a main federal grant, and other important information for the school you're applying to, such as institutional statistics, graduation rate, retention rate, and then transfer rate. This will actually allow you to compare the different schools that you want to attend, and then see what is the likelihood of you even attending that school, the likelihood of you transferring out of that institution, and or the graduation rate. A student may be selected for a process called the verification. This is a process by which institution has to ensure certain information provided on the FAFSA is reviewed for accuracy and completedness. For UND, a student file is selected by the Department of Education. We do not have the ability to waive these documentation. So again, going back to what I have previously mentioned, you have to make sure that you use the data retrieval tools. If the student is selected for this process, students and families must submit the requested documentation. Once you complete this process, the financial aid awards will then be offered to the students. Typically will be notified via email. This is a notification that a school will send to you, which basically describe the various type of financial aid for which the student is eligible to receive. So what is it that you're applying for when you submit the FAFSA application? You're actually applying for aid from three different tiers. One from the federal government, two from the state of Maryland and or the state that you live in, and three, institutional funding. The first tier that we are going to focus on here is the federal grant funding. We're on the federal level. We're looking at the Pell Grant. The students must complete the FAFSA application. The students have to demonstrate financial need. The award amount can be between $895 to $6,345, and it is based on your EFC. An example would be if your EFC is 0, you would receive the maximum amount, which is the $6,345. Second, the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant is awarded in conjunction with the federal Pell Grant. This award is awarded on a first come, first served basis based on the priority deadline. Again, for ours is January 1st. The award amount is $200 to $600. You may think to yourself that this amount is very low, but it actually will assist the students. It can either pay for books and or supplies, which will then fill in the gap and assist the students in lowering their educational costs. Self-help. Self-help is a type of financial aid. It is aid that the students can earn through work and is required to pay back. Student loans and work study are both considered self-help, and it is both counted as financial aid. Many colleges build their financial aid awards starting with self-help. So when you're looking at it, if you indicate on your FAFSA that you're interested in federal work study, we will review that information and offer you the federal work study program. The students will then be able to apply for jobs campus-wide. The students can work up to 20 hours. The students must participate to receive the awards. What does this mean? The students basically have to apply for a job in order to qualify for the funding. They will get paid bi-weekly based on the number of hours they're working and the hourly wages. The amount varies by different school. For University of Maryland, we offered students up to $3,000 per academic year. Again, in addition to federal grants, that are offered through the federal government, there are also federal loans that the students will be considered for based on his or her FAFSA information. The two types of loans that the students can be considered for are the direct subsidized SAFRA loan and the direct unsubsidized SAFRA loan. The direct subsidized SAFRA loan is a need-based loan. and therefore a student must demonstrate financial need in order to be considered for this loan. The interest rate is a fixed amount. The interest rate varies each year. For the 2020-21 academic year, this is just to give you an example, the interest rate associated with this loan is 2.75, and it will be a fixed interest. The interest for the direct subsidized Stafford loan does not accrue while the student is in school. Again, the student is not responsible for the interest while they are in school. The direct unsubsidized Stafford loan is a non-need-based loan, and therefore a student does not have to demonstrate financial need for eligibility of this loan. As long as the students complete their FAFSA application, the students will be offered the unsubsidized Stafford loan based on their grade level limit. The interest rate for this loan is also a fixed amount. However, the interest does accrue while the student is in school. This is the main differences between the two loans. Like the direct subsidized Stafford loan, the interest rate amount does vary from year to year. For the current year, the interest is at 2.75 fixed rate. If you're looking at this chart, you're looking at the different loan level. As a freshman, students coming in, students can receive $3,500 of a subsidized Stafford loan, and then a $2,000 unsubsidized Stafford loan, a combined of $5,500. As the student progressed through the year, their loan amount will increase because the government is investing in your education. As a sophomore, the students can receive up to $6,500. $4,500 will be a subsidized Stafford loan, and then $2,000 will be in an unsubsidized Stafford loan. Juniors and seniors, once you get into that standing grade level, the students can qualify for $7,500. $5,500 is the subsidized Stafford loan, and then the $2,000 will be offered to the students in an unsubsidized Stafford loan. If the students decide later to pursue a graduate or professional degree, the students is eligible to receive up to $20,500 in an unsubsidized Stafford loan per academic year. The repayment for both of the loans is 6 months after graduation. So there is a 6 months grace period. If you graduate in May, the students will have until 6 months from May before the repayment starts. Depending on the loan amount, the students can repay the loan in 10 to 25 years. The Parent Plus loan. The Parent Plus loan is a loan that parents can apply for to fill in the gap. The Parent Plus loan eligibility, the students have to complete the FAFSA application. Credit approval is based on a parent, so it is based on a parent's credit history. The loan amount is you would take the cost of attendance minus any financial aid that the student is receiving. The remaining amount is what the parents can request in a plus loan to assist. Interest accrued after the loan has been disbursed for this particular loan. The loan interest rate will be, again, a fixed interest. The interest rate for next academic year is 5.3%. The repayment terms will begin 60 days after the loan has been disbursed to the student's account. Borrower can defer payments and request a 6 months grace period for when the student graduates or cease to be enrolled. The parents will have the option to have a 6 months grace period before the repayment starts, if they choose to. Parents will have 10 years maximum repayment period to pay this loan back. The second tier of financial aid the students is applying for is the Maryland State Grant Program. The students have to complete the FAFSA application. The deadline is always March 1st of every single year. The students have to demonstrate financial need, and the students must be a Maryland resident. If the students awarded any state award, the students can use it at a 2 or 4 year Maryland college or university. I highly recommend that you go on to their website, mhec.state.md.us. If you look at the screen here, there's a lot of information that you can find on their website under quick links. You can find all of the different types of state grants and scholarships that are available through state. Some of the need-based grant available through the state of Maryland is the Guaranteed Access Grant. The students must be graduated from high school and they must have a cumulative GPA of 2.5. The students also have to meet the income guideline mandated by MHEC. This is actually available on a website. If you're curious, you can go onto their website and find out all of the information relating to this particular grant. If the students awarded the grant, the students must be a full-time student. The award amount is between $400 to $18,400. The second type of grants that are available through state is the Education Assistant Grant. It is available to high school seniors, undergraduate, and as well as graduate students. The award amount is between $400 and up to $3,000. This award is based on the student's estimated family contribution. This academic year, the EFC cutoff was $3,881. Again, it is based on your FAFSA application. The Maryland Legislative Scholarships. I highly encourage everybody to apply for the Legislative Scholarship. You will be required to submit a separate application, not just the FAFSA. The application is available on the website, particularly not on their website, but you have to contact the legislator, delegate, and a senatorial based on your district to get the application information. But the contact information is located on the Maryland website. The delegate scholarships is available, both scholarships, senatorial and delegate scholarship are available to high school seniors, undergraduate and graduate students. The students can be full-time or part-time. It is also available for students to take out of state, assuming that there is no major at Maryland. They can carry that scholarships to an out-of-state university or school. The scholarship must be renewed each year. The award amount for the delegate scholarship is between $200 to $11,800. For the senatorial scholarship, it is $400 to $11,800. And of course, the third tier. We are looking at institutional grants and scholarships, and this could be through our office based on need and or merit aid scholarships through the departments and as well as admission. But in terms of need-based financial aid through our office, the award is known as the University of Maryland Grant. The students have to complete the FAFSA application, meet the priority deadline of January 1st. Students have to be a full-time students, which means the students have to enroll in at least 12 credits each term. The students must be eligible to complete the FAFSA. The award amount is up to $5,000 per academic year based on the expected family contribution. It is awarded to Maryland resident only, and it is awarded to students who is admitted to a degree-seeking program. Private scholarship. We may know that headlines will talk about scholarships going on unclaimed. Private scholarships are available outside through outside organization. Students must research and apply separately to organization or businesses. Private organization, for example, will provide outside scholarships, nonprofit organization, businesses, churches, and as well as school. And it is typically based on academic skills, talents, characteristics, community service, or financial needs. The amount may vary based on the student's financial need and also based on the scholarships. It could vary from $1,000 to $5,000 and or even more. And typically it is a one-time awards and some are renewable. Outside scholarships are a great source for students to obtain additional funding to finance their education. There are various scholarship search engines that can assist the students. As you can see here, here's an example of a few websites that we recommend students take a look at and that will allow the students and assist the students in finding outside scholarships. On a national level, the Coca-Cola Program scholarships are also available. There's Burger King. So if you look at the application deadline, I do want to make sure that you understand this is a national scholarship. So typically, the date will be the same. So if you are currently a junior and you are planning to go to apply to college next academic year, you will be applying in August of 2021. And the deadline remained the same, it's just the year will be different. So again, this is something that's very similar for all scholarships. So you can actually start doing your research now and just know the date of when it's due, and then you can actually later on submit the application. This is just an example of the estimated cost of attendance. This is based on the 2020-21 rate, so which is the current year or the next academic year. For an in-state student, if you're living on campus, you're looking at the cost of about $27,526. And if you're living with your family, it's about $20,326. And as an out-of-state student who's living on campus, the cost will be about $53,636. And if you are living off campus, it's about $56,776. Some of the financial aid questions that we receive from students are, what happens if I receive private outside scholarship? How does it impact my financial aid? Students can receive financial aid, grants, scholarships, federal work study, or loans up to the unmet need and or the cost of attendance. If the financial aid exceeds the unmet need or cost of attendance, the federal loans are reduced to prevent an over-award. 2, my financial aid income status is different than what was initially reported on a FAFSA. How can I make sure the financial aid office is aware of the changes of my income? Federal laws governing financial aid allow the Office of Student Financial Aid to recalculate financial need in cases of special circumstances not taken into consideration by the FAFSA. Parents will need to file the FAFSA with the information reported on the FAFSA. However, they can submit a special circumstances appeal along with the supporting documentation regarding the changes to the income. A financial aid counselor will be able to assist you through this process, and each institution, they do have their own process. So I encourage, if this is the case, when it comes to time you're applying to colleges, please contact the financial aid office to let them know. Third, what is the percentage aid offered to students? 75% of our students that apply for financial aid will receive the assistance. What is the percentage of students that receive grants or scholarships? 65% of our students that apply for scholarships or financial aid will receive the assistance. Important dates to be reminded is the October 1st, every single year, the FAFSA will become available. The students can then apply for the application. As well as the University of Maryland, our deadline will always remain January 1st. So when you're looking at this important dates, you're looking at the early action application deadline will then come after the FAFSA is available, which is November 1st. The early action decision released will be sent out by February 1st. Then you will see that the priority of the financial aid priority deadline is January 1st. So you can actually focus on completing your admission application before completing your financial aid application. The scholarship review and post-decision release will come after. The scholarship notification will be sent out early March. Freshman financial aid award offer will be released by mid-March. The confirmation deadline for the University of Maryland and nationwide is May 1st. This is our contact information, and thank you for attending. What I'm going to do now at this moment is I will bring back my colleague James Massey.
Thank you again for joining us for the College Access Central. We hope the information has been valuable, and we certainly hope that it will help you as you continue on your journey to complete your college application. Thank you so much, and don't hesitate to reach out to us.